Hello YouTube, and welcome to another Raw review with your host, LLX. This one's a little bit different than the other Raw reviews that you have seen, and primarily what we're doing here is something I like to call a customizer corner. We saw bits of it in a previous video, where I basically take a figure apart and show you, to the best of my ability, what its component parts are for those of you who like to customize and build new toys from older toys. So what I have here is, we've seen them before on the channel, the Megaforce Yellow and Megaforce Red 4-inch toy. So give me a moment. How do we listen? Alright, so let us start here with the disembodied form of our lovely the Gia. Adjust the camera so I can see what I'm showing you. So, when you take off all the components that you can easily take off, what you're left is with this base body. There's no articulation in the base body here. Of course, there is articulation in the legs, but just like with the male figure, getting the actual legs to pop out is really hard. So I didn't bother with it. Same thing with the arms. You know, the arms are on these ball hinges, but no amount of pulling, even with a pair of pliers, will just get them out. So they're nice and tough and secure in there. But this is your base body. The only points of articulation on the base body are, of course, the arms and the legs. The body itself has no neck articulation, no torso articulation, nothing like that. The skirt is one solid piece, so it has no flexibility to speak of. And that's your base body. The base body measures, you know, without the head, the hands, and all that fun stuff, from the top of the head's ball joint to the bottom of the... trying to line this up just right. To the bottom of the foot pegs is 3 inches, meaning that all the other accessories add the additional inch. Those accessories, so to speak, are her boots, her hands. Obviously she has 2 of them, but I'm only grabbing one at a time. The various normal weapons that you can peg off. The holder for the gun, the primary weapon, and the helmet. Troy, our industrious Red Ranger, has similar articulation. Set up, there is a main body. There are no joints in this main body. There's no joints in the neck. You can get a better look at the leg joints here. You can see it's a standard... it looks like it's just a hinge that can swivel. That gives you the full range of motion this way. Obviously limited by the molding of the actual legs. It's not a ball peg. Primary body is just, you know, one solid mold. Again, the arms cannot be easily removed. I will not try and risk breaking it. From the top of his neck peg to his feet pegs, he measures 3 1/4 inches. So yeah, 3 1/4 inches. There's his helmet. The hands, of course, he has 2 of them. Just showing them one at a time. Weapons and the holder. primary weapon, and boots. And of course, since this is Customizer's Corner, I know the question will be asked, since I did it with the other one, the SH Figure Arts Red and Pink, how well do they peg into each other? So we'll put Red's boot, fits just fine into yellow, and Yellow's boot so once again, even though they look like they're about the same size for the pegs, I mean, yellow looks a little bit smaller now. I'm getting a closer look at it, but you really can't swap. Since this is a smaller connection joint here on yellow, it won't fit into red without, well, I'm wrong. It's a very tight fit, but if you just simply twist back and forth, it will go in there. Pops out just fine. So let's take one of Red's hands and see if we can fit it onto Yellow's body. This peg is very, very small, so you can slide it on, but it won't hold. See? Same token method, we're going to take one of Yellow's hands and try and peg it onto Red. The peg size difference is so massive that there's no way to get it in there, because that hole is minuscule and that peg is massive. So the hands won't swap. You can swap a little bit of effort at the feet. The actual belt stuff, this is the holster for Red's weapon, Red's sidearm. Those peg in just fine. They're the exact same size. Weapons, well, obviously this went into Red's hand, so you can mix and match the weapons as you like. We'll do the same thing with Yellow's weapon. Kind of wish I had one that had like pink or something, because Yellow's weapon has always been kind of weird for me. I've never really been able to get it to comfortably rest in even Yellow's hand. But it fits right into Red's hand just fine. Since we know the boots are hot swappable, let's do a quick comparison. So you can see Yellow's is actually a bit taller, a bit thinner, not nearly as wide. We've already discovered that the peg holes are relatively close in size, so they're easy to hot swap. Yellow's shoe size is a bit smaller. And that's about the long and the short of it in terms of our customizable figures. I suppose one thing I haven't covered yet is head swappability. How easy is it to swap, say, Yellow's helmet onto Red's base body? Just doing the same technique I did with the shoes, where I just hold one and twist the other to get it to slide, to pop into place. And from what I can tell, yeah, I mean, look, if you look really close, you'll see that Red's head peg hole is a little bit larger. So you could probably, just like with the foot, wedge it in there with a little bit of effort. I imagine then Red should easily slide onto Yellow, just like with the foot pegs. So our mix and match Red and Yellow Ranger. And there you go. So in theory, if you actually wanted to make, say, a male Yellow Ranger, you could. It's not that hard. You'd obviously still have to repaint the body, And if you're going to repaint the body, you might as well go with their foot accessories, their boots, their normal boots, instead of doing something like this. Because the cuffs do look a bit large on them. And of course, as I mentioned, getting these boots on is a little trickier. But it's doable. I have to say though, just from an objective viewer's standpoint, having this thinner boot on our Red Ranger here actually doesn't look too bad. You will notice though, if we zoom in close enough, that even when you peg it in, there's a little bit of a gap, so it's not, the boot itself is not deep enough. You'd have to core out the boot here a little bit to go a bit deeper. But you shouldn't have any problem, and it doesn't really look all that bad. It's a nice long foot, but I don't think it looks bad per se. So let's finish our little mix and match here and see what happens when we get everything matched up as best we can. You know, female boots on the male body, male boots on the female body, heads swapped. And of course we have to give them their original hands because the hands themselves have such differences in peg size that you cannot hot swap them. These hands peg in really tight. That's normal though. Keep that in mind. Because remember, these figures are not designed to have swappable hands or feet or anything. These are not SH figures. These are 4-inch, $8 toys. Or $10 toys, depending on what market you go with. So there we go. We've got Gio wearing Troy's boots and his helmet. Which doesn't actually look too bad. The helmets are not actually really a different size, per se. So they're about the same size helmet-wise. So swapping them out doesn't really do much. It does find, if you do look at them, and I think you'll even notice it with the original figure, the female helmet does look a little bit disproportionate to the figure, mainly because the figure itself is so slimmed down. So let's pop on over to Troy here, give him his hands, and you know, with my luck, I'd put him on backwards so he'd have his thumbs in reverse. So there we go. Tria, and Joy, with a G. The weapons, of course, peg in like normal. There's nothing really spectacular to talk about with that. So, once again, this is Customizer Corner, showing you what you can do with your figures, what your options are, and so on and so forth. Coming up soon on this same channel, I will be doing a new toy review. I picked this up because it was on sale primarily at my local Walmart. It is the Ultra Megaforce Metallic version. And I do actually have some more stuff coming in for my Bandai project. So we will see you all soon. So I hope you all are enjoying the show. Good night, every pony.